Live. Hello, everybody. Wait for the thing to catch up to see if we've got some folks in here. As I get myself a little bit organized. Greenwich Tower, Tower in Wonderland. Where's the tarot deck? Where the hell did I put that down? Okay. All right. Hi, guys. All right. Hi, Lady Blind Wolf. Hi, Katie. Uh-oh. Did I not get my Fool card out? Oh, I did readings. And that's why I lost my initiate card. How could I do that? That is awful. Give me a second to just find my card. I forgot I did a reading and I got myself unprepared because I don't know why I don't start from the bottom. Because the way fate has it, I always will find the card I'm looking for will be like the very last card. So anyways, how's everyone doing today? So let me tell you a little bit about, while I find the last card I need to find, I'll tell you what we're going to do today. I've been thinking of just kind of, so there's the card. It's called the Initiate. So Lucian and I have been doing on and off tarot symbolism. And but he's kind of moved away from that because he's got 2 classes going on. He's got a lot of stuff going on. That Lucian's a busy guy. But I wanted to kind of pick up a little bit where we left off, and I didn't know what to call it. So I said Saturday Tarot Talking Tea. But what I want to do is kind of pick up on that symbolism, and instead we'll focus on 1 or 2 cards per week and just compare those cards between decks, because I really like, and I've got a good selection of decks I'm going to use. So we're going to be looking at my Wizard's Tarot today. We're going to be looking at the Starman Tarot, the Green Witch, the Barbara Moore Wizard's Tarot, the Tarot in Wonderland, and depending on time, the Light Seers and the Deviant Moon. And we'll just look at the differences between the Fool cards for each deck. Let's hop over to the comments. So hi, Katie. Hi, Lady Blind Wolf. Hi, Lori. Hi, Alexandria. Hi, Dark Storm. Hi, long-haired, skinny-eyed toe. How are you guys doing? Happy Saturday morning. So before we get started, we'll talk a little bit about what's going on in life in general. So Lucian's been feeling a little under the weather, even though he's out at the store now. I can't keep him down. He likes to shop. So he's been a little bit under the weather, a little bit of, don't know if it's the flu, but it's flu-like. And for myself, I have so much going on. I'm going to be changing jobs. So I had put my notice in at my current job the beginning of this week. And, so I do my 2 weeks and I'm starting my new position. So that's kind of got us a little bit all tense and mix of emotions. Hi, Ravenheart. Hi, Simon. How are you? Simon, are you still on your trip? I've been keeping an eye on like your posts, and oh my God, I'm so jealous. I told Lucian that, you know what, this summer we have got to take a road trip somewhere. There's so many cool places to see. And it's like, I'm going to make it. I tell you what, I'm going to make it a Simon makes. Oh, so you're back. I'm going to make this another Simon made me do it. I'm doing some sort of road trip, I think, this summer, and I'm going to drag Lucian along. I know we like to go camping. So I'm going to find some places because there's so much. You got to take time to get out in the world and actually see, what's out there. Because, right in our own backyards, there's so much cool things to see. And we kind of just, we just don't. We stay in our houses. So, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm so jealous. This is your second one I watched you do, Simon. And I'm so jealous. Plus, Britain is so gorgeous. The places I've seen vicariously through you is absolutely amazing. So, anyways, let's see. So we're gonna start talking some tarot. So, and up first, what we're gonna do up first is our. So let's get started with the card, shall we? Oh, wait a minute. I'm telling you, this is another conversation I had with Lucian Simon. I do so want to plan a trip because we were in London a few years back and it was amazing and we want to go back. So we definitely got to plan some sort of trip. Absolutely. It'd be so much fun. But anyway, Simon, welcome back. Back to the mundane world of working and working. Where we all live. But yeah, we're going to talk more about this, Simon, because we're going to plan a trip. Got to plan a trip. All right, so let's get started. So today we're going to talk and look at the card 0 or the Fool card. And the first deck up, let's bring this up on screen. The first one we're going to look at is from the Starman Tarot. And of course, it's not, and this is what fascinates me about doing this sort of thing, is that I've selected decks where, because I've got a lot of decks where sometimes they do these little switch out things with cards. So this is the Sacred Clown. And we'll take a look at the book. And because we're going to explore, what the artist intention is with their cards, because that's always fascinating. I know I read more intuitively. Let me fix my mic. But I'd like to look at what the artist tends, kind of, their intention. All right. So Sacred Clown. The Sacred Clown, or Heyoka, from the Lakota tradition, knows that nothing we think is actually true. No belief is fixed. As trickster and shaman converge, he probes beneath the veil of normality to reveal the astonishing and unexpected. Indeed, the gap between you and what you have understood to be you. His words are like a lightning bolt, which can pierce the heart. The card depicts the Sacred Clown dressed in black and white striped antler hat, grinning mischievously as a burst of flames shoot from his finger. Naked and painted to the waist, he is surrounded by walls of garish graffiti which appear to be alive. Morphing, moving strands of hypnotic color, bursting with energy. Standing on a path bedecked with sharp-toothed traps of ill-gotten gold. He appears unconcerned that they might cause him injury. An almighty starball of molten fire glows and puckers close behind, and he is indifferent. He is touched by everything and damaged by nothing. Seeing the cosmic joke, the ultimate illusion, where we see limitation, fear, and pain. At once, both innocent and dangerous, his fire pokes holes in the things you take too seriously. He puts a pin into the puffed up balloon of your story. The triumphs and woes of the past, the projected fears of the future, because he understands the primordial energy of nature is beyond good and evil, beyond human ideas of right and wrong. Joy and pain are united, two sides of the same coin. So when we look at the sacred clown versus, excuse me, a little bit of frog in my throat, and I keep bumping the thing. Sorry about that. Sorry. Oh, it says that Mike is legit. I love it. It's a little ball. It's my little ball. My crystal ball. But anyways, this is one of the standout ones for me that I really, really like. So when you look at the meaning of the tradition, the traditional Fool card, right? In Rider-Waite, it's the guy stepping off the cliff, right? To indicate that that new journey, that stepping, having faith to step into that new journey. And well, yes, in this card, right, the bear traps the cliff, right? You step off the danger. He's walking through the danger. So there's a parallel to be had there. It's pretty interesting. Again, he's got a big fireball behind him, is pushing. Could that signify kind of a little bit of a push off the cliff or down the path in his case? It just depends on how you really read it. I like the fact that he's very mischievous. He's kind of a trickster. He's the quintessential fool, right? Fools are the tricksters, right? So it's interesting, quite interesting. Laura says, not a fan of that fool. It's a very interesting take on the fool. I love the Starman Tarot for its artwork. But yeah, I tried reading with this deck once, and it is way too busy for me to read. There's just way too much going on in the artwork. But yeah, it's just an interesting fool. So let's move on to our next fool. And I'll give you guys a few minutes to look at this. I wanted to pull out my Wizard's Tarot deck, because we always got to include that. And this is another differentiator card, or kind of, if you would, it's not a fool, it's the initiate. And give me a second. We'll put this in here, and I have to pull this up on my iPad because I don't have the book for this deck. All right, but let's explore the initiate. Okay. In a secluded grove on the Mandrake Academy campus, a new student prepares to dedicate herself to a year-long study of the magical craft. She carries her supplies in a leather bag, and she is accompanied by a loyal companion, her magical familiar, a white rabbit. She's the picture of purity and innocence, perched on the edge of a monumentous change. Let's look at some key symbols. The initiate, the first card in the deck, represents all newcomers to the art of tarot and the world of magic. Like most young people, the initiate is untested and naive. She's willing to trade her inexperience for wisdom, but she doesn't realize what her commitment will entail. She wears a white hooded robe, a sign of purity and innocence, right? That's just the sign of purity. Let me bring this one in a little closer so you guys can see it. If I single that one out, does that do a little better? Let's see. She's also barefoot to remain grounded and connected to earth. She stands near a bonfire in a clearing in the woods. The fire floats above the ground, which means the flames are a manifestation of will and desire, and not simply a physical phenomenon. Smoke rises in the air, which is the element associated with the initiate card, air. The 12 stones and the pebble in the ring symbolize the year and a day that initiates commit to the study of magic. That's the stones, around. I don't have a pointer. Let me see. What can I point with? Here's a pen. Use this pen. Right. I think what they're talking about is these stones here signify the year and the day. Okay. The initiate's bag glows with an otherworldly light, a sign of the mysteries it contains. Right. I don't know if you can tell by the camera, but it actually looks like inside here there's like something glowing from within the bag. Her bag is a sturdy traveler's piece crafted from high-grade leather. So far, it doesn't show many signs of wear. The buckle and flap on the front of the bag look like the glyph for Uranus, the planet that corresponds with the card. The initiate's bag holds her wizard's tarot deck, which incorporates the 4 basic tools of magic: a wand, a cup, a sword, and a pentacle. Behind her, the new crescent moon symbolizes new beginnings. It's waxing towards full, which means that the initiate is experiencing a time of growth. Interesting. The face in the moon is the face of the goddess, a nurturing presence and a creative force. Face in the moon. Oh, there was a face in the moon. I never noticed that. 10 ripe apples hang from the branches above the initiate's head. They symbolize the 10 spheres on the Kabbalistic tree of life. Apples also symbolize the forbidden fruit of knowledge and exploration, as well as health and well-being. Because the initiate is the first card in the tarot deck, it corresponds to the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, Aleph, or Aleph. You can see the letter on the boulder in the fire and in the shape of the rabbit's body. It means ox, an animal that represents strength and leadership. If you look closely, you can see the thing. So practically, the initiate card is your portal into the magical world of Mandrake Academy. To enter the card, use basic visualization. Start by studying the card carefully. As you gaze at its image, picture it glowing larger and larger until it stands before you like an open door. Take a deep breath, and then imagine yourself walking into the card in the grounds of Mandrake Academy. I'm not too sure what that means, but again, it's a very interesting take on the Fool card. And to me, that what the Fool means. Let me bring myself back up. What the Fool means is that end of something and starting of something else. That big change, and the word initiate to me sums that up. And this card, right, we have a student basically starting her journey into her studies, into her courses. Right? So pretty interesting. It is one of my favorite. I mean, this is, of course, is my go-to deck. Oh, hi, Somewhere in Time. How are you? And Laurie says, loving this one, but the art and the book meaning, both the art and the book meaning. Yeah, it's it's very well. This whole deck is very well put together. I love the book meaning and how they keep the Mandrake Academy theme. But it really does. It captures that full meaning, right, of starting something big and new. Okay. So while we're on Wizards, let's take a pop over and let's look at the Barbara Moore Wizards, the Wizards Tarot Fool. All right, we'll pop that up, move this out of the way. There it is right here. And I just got this deck not too long ago. And this is another deck that I find pretty cool. Oops, stop bumping things. So what about this fool? It's very interesting. Like we have a girl. She's kind of sitting on the cliff. She's looking down, a little more cautious than your typical fool. She's like, when I look at it, it's like she's looking down and contemplating, like both her and the dog contemplating jumping down. Let's see what the book meaning of this one is. Let me just get to the card. All right, here we go. The Fool. Okay. So the way this book is arranged, so we have keywords associated with the card. Beginnings, innocence, freedom, spontaneity, adventure, youth, idealism, faith, purity, fearlessness, carelessness, eccentricity, and apparent foolishness. Okay, meaning. You are at a crossroads facing a simple decision. Simple doesn't always mean easy. And while the choice is simple, jump or not jump, it is also a hard decision. You don't know what lies ahead, and you may not even have a clear idea of where you want to go. But you can't deny the urge, the curiosity, the wonder about what might be possible if only you were brave enough to take that leap. Maybe you're worried that it is foolish, it's a foolish choice, and that others won't support you. No one is going to push you. If you're going to do it, it has to be your choice. And under advice, it says, you can't know where your leap will take you, although the other cards in the reading might give you the clues. If you decide to leap, the white dog lets you know that you are not alone, but your higher self travels with you and will warn you of danger. Interesting. Take only what you need, like a small pack in the image. This might be more about emotional or mental baggage than physical items. The red feather and white rose, respectively, remind you to move forward with pure intentions and follow your passion. That's interesting. Oh, I just closed the book. That's interesting, right? You see the white feather, the red feather, and the white rose, kind of down there. I don't know if they're like floating or falling or what. And another thing that I find interesting here is, yeah, sometimes when we move forward in something, like, don't we carry that baggage sometimes with us? This card is saying, leave that baggage behind when you start that something new, right? And yeah, as Somewhere in Time Tarot says, the red feather and white rose are below her. And you know, what does that mean? And also, right, the jump, the new leap is below her, right? To jump off the cliff. So does that mean that the Feather and Rose are in her path? They're going in the direction, right? The book says that it symbolizes making that leap with pure, with purity. So, it makes sense that they're kind of in her path when she jumps. Interesting. Hi, October. How are you? This is another interesting, yeah. It's like, wow, someone stealing the show, but yeah, it's interesting, right? In the typical Fool card, the bag is on a pole behind her, but she's in a total different position, right? She's got the pole, she's kind of holding it out. Does that mean something? So in the story arc of the tarot, as I say it. Hold on. Alexa, turn living room to 100. Get a little more light in here.
Okay.
Well, that didn't do much. But in the story arc of the tarot, right, if that makes any sense, the typical Fool to me, the decision to leap has already been made, right? In a traditional Rider-Waite, and I wish I had a traditional Rider-Waite deck handy, but I don't. But the Fool is already stepping off the cliff. We're here with this card. We have a little different scenario going on. She hasn't made her decision yet. So it's kind of like to point out that little, the little differences you sometimes see there. And again, with, the way she's holding the bag, right? She's holding it like, I don't know. What does it signify with it being in front of her? Very interesting. Interesting difference. I love these differences. Yeah, she's holding it like she is fishing. Yeah, sure. Right? Fishing for ideas, right? Fishing, for it could be fishing for anything. Fishing for the courage to make that decision, to make that leap. Very interesting. All right. So the next card, I'm going to keep this out because that's something I wanted to do. Let's move this over here. No, buddy, you're going to go that way. I have another Barbara Moore deck, and it's the Tarot in Wonderland. And I want to let's take a look at this Fool card because it's from the same author. And let's see how, what this card looks like. All right. So this is the Tarot in Wonderland. And, right, we have Alice with a cat jumping down the rabbit hole. So we're going to hop over here to the book, the Major Arcana, and let's see what this Fool has to say. Not Barbara Moore, the Fool, the card. Looking through the glass, or looking through the looking glass. Let's set the scene. Alice is sitting on the bank of a river, feeling hot, lazy, and stupid. Her sister's book doesn't interest her because there are no pictures or dialogue in it. The state of being lulled into a stupor with no real human interaction and no connection to the soul, via dialogue and images, is common for people just before a big leap into an adventure. Let me read that part again, because that's interesting. The state of being lulled into a stupor with no real human interaction and no connection to the soul, via the dialogue and the images, is common for people just before the leap into an adventure. Interesting. In fact, Alice's torpor is so heavy that she doesn't find the energy to be surprised when she hears the rabbit actually say, oh dear, I shall be too late." Alice's experience is archetypical. When we hear the call to adventure, it has to work through the dense, comfortable normality of our lives. Luckily, the rabbit's watch and waistcoat finally catch her attention, and burning with curiosity, she gives chase just in time to see him drop down a rabbit hole. In another moment, down went Alice after it, never once considering how in the world she was going to get out again. This is quite literally the action of the fool. Something rouses us from a state of sedation and captures our curiosity, which in this case is stronger. Is stronger and more important than courage, and causes us to seek without worrying about returning to normal life. The text doesn't mention Dina, if I'm saying that right, Alice's cat. In this scene, and throughout the stories, she is an ambiguous character, staying firmly rooted in the waking world, although her kittens, Kitty and Snowdrop, become part of the dreaming world. I think they're talking about this cat, but there's no cat in the thing. So, anyways, down the rabbit hole. In the reading, the fool is the moment when the fear of relinquishing normal life gives way to curiosity and to experience connection with the divine. Connection with the divine takes many forms and can also be called discovering one's true self and purpose. The journey of life is simple: to rediscover the divine that has been with you all along and express it in the world. The hard part, as we learned from Alice's experience, is that what we ironically call waking life, reality or normalcy, has a pretty vested interest in keeping us rooted here. Despite the world's attempts to keep us sedated, we have faith. This thing that tells us there is something more. Right? Isn't that what faith is? We have to release all that we've known and relied on, even the knowledge of what we seek, in order to find our true selves. So keywords with the fool. So there's a section here called keywords: beginnings, innocence, freedom, spontaneity, adventure, youth, idealism, faith, purity, fearless. Isn't this the same as what was in the other deck? Right? It's the same thing. Faith, purity, fearlessness, carelessness, eccentricity, and apparent foolishness. Wow, you see that? A tie between the two Barbara Moore decks. That's interesting. I wanted to kind of do that little comparison. Right, and we have that. Let me see if I can side by side these, just to do a little bit of will it fit? Right, so those are the two. Come on. Ugh. I kind of got it. Right, very similar. No, and well, the shape of the cards are similar, but two very different fools going on here. The Alice fool, I don't see a big decision. I mean, she's leaping. I mean, she's just, I heard the rabbit and I'm going. Whereas the fool on the right hasn't made that decision yet. So what I wanted to point out with this card, it's very interesting that this particular card here, there's that decision-making process in there. At least that's how I'm seeing it. All right. So anyways, do you guys find this interesting at all, or is this boring? Or I'm always trying to find new and cool ideas. How long have we been going? 34 minutes. So let's move on. Anyways, Oh, it's not out there yet? Interesting. I didn't know that. Ah, yeah, I've actually I really like this deck. It's actually my number two. I've been really getting to know it, and it really is a really cool deck. Um, anyways, let's move on to our next one. We're going to look at the Fool from the Green Witch deck. Let's bring the camera back up. And again, I like this because check this out. It's not a fool. It's the Green Man, right? So let's take a look at what the author has to say about Green Man. As soon as I get to the major arcana in this book. And by the way, this is the Green Witch Tarot. That's the one made by Anne Mora, if I'm saying that right. All right. So the first card in this deck. Oh, hold on. So not. When does it come out? In the UK. Because yeah, I just got it maybe a couple weeks ago. Dave, I love looking at comparisons of decks. Yeah. I do too. Especially decks that have like the different cards, like the ones I've selected here. Um, you know, I find it fascinating. Oh, 1st of April. Oh, wow. Yeah, you got a little time. I'm sorry. It's worth it, though. I find it worth it. But, I like that, the whole wizard theme of things. It just really resonates with me. All right, the Green Man. This card represents the god of nature in his aspect as the Green Man. Historically depicted as a leafy male figure with a foliate face, because that means leaves. He represents the fertility of spring and the awakening earth. When vegetation begins to sprout, early flowers poke through the barren ground, buds appear on trees, and there is hope for the end of the deprivations of the harsh winter. All right, so it's a new beginning, right? The Green Man has been imprisoned. No, sorry. The Green Man has been impersonated since ancient times by men disguised as Jacko the Green and Bushymen covered with leaves. I don't know what that means. Buryman covered with dried burdock flower heads, Morris dancers wearing bells, wild men in hides, fools in tatters. Okay. And others in various cultures. I've never heard that, but that's interesting. That's interesting. Kind of, I guess those figures paid like some sort of homage to the Green Man. The Green Man is believed to watch over his imitators with approval and pass the energy of fertility to the earth through his surrogates to awaken the earth from winter's sleep, bless the land, and encourage fertility in crops and livestock through the ancient ritual of sympathetic magic. The disguised impersonators continue this tradition in modern day festivals, dancing and striking the earth with a staff as they travel to farmsteads with a troop of helpers and musicians. Their festive mood enhanced with the ale and other spirits through the day. At day's end, the staff is secretly buried and the disguises put away. Or burned, it says. The Green Man relates to the Sabbath of Ostara, the spring equinox, when the gods' energetic enthusiasm initiates new things, new beginnings, adventure, and growth. This card demonstrates the raw energy of nature, the joy of life, and the awakening of the spirit to a new adventure, awakening Mother Earth for the goddess as spring maiden. This potentially chaotic energy should be directed with caution and thoughtfulness, so it is not wasted. The zeal of this card may border on recklessness, and the querent is reminded not to take this energy to extremes, for there are always consequences to actions. If indicated in the spread as a departure from the routine, this card could represent something as minor as a vacation or as major as a change of lifestyle. Mugworts, symbolizing fresh starts, fertility, and magical powers, grows near the bench. A white dog, signifying support, fertility, and growth, leaps with danger. Right, we see that in the right below the green man in the card. So, meaning a fresh start, a new beginning, enthusiasm, excitement, spontaneity, courage, potential, creativity, fertility, innocence, innovation, vacation, primal energy, fearlessness. So kind of similar to the I kind of, now that I've read the text, I kind of get what this card's trying to say. So instead of an initiate or a fool stepping off a cliff, signifying that new beginning, is this card is actually using, nature to depict that, right? The new beginning being spring, right? That's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. I think pretty interesting. I think. Let's see, what time is it? All right, we'll go a little bit longer. I know, I'll go for about like maybe an hour, and then we'll head off because I like to give Simon enough time to get ready for his lives. And Simon, are you going live today? I didn't. For some reason, my YouTube notifications have been junk, so I haven't been knowing. All right, I want to do another deck. The next one up is the new new era elements. This deck is probably one of the more powerful decks that I've seen. Another deck that I've worked a bit with, and I really love reading with. All right, let's put this here. Bring the camera up. All right, the Fool. So isn't this interesting, Fool? As I go, this is a tiny little book. So I don't know how much it says about it. Okay. All right, so let's read what the author says about this book. The Fool, Correspondence's Heir. Keywords: curiosity, new beginnings, open-mindedness, innocence, excitement, joy of life, exploration, and fearlessness. Lack of caution, recklessness, unwillingness to take responsibility. Interesting. The card opening the sequence of major arcana is the Fool. It stands for beginnings, for wide-eyed curiosity, and the way a child would see the world, full of wonder and oblivious to danger. Exploring the card. The central motif of the card shows a newborn reincarnation. A newborn reincarnating into this existence, despite the dangers it will have to face. represented by animals surrounding it. The egg behind the baby hints at beginnings and potentialities. And the knotwork in the background stands for continuity. It means the Fool is not only the beginning of the journey, it is also the end that starts a new cycle. So that's interesting, and that doesn't say too much about it, but that's a pretty interesting. Let's bring that in. It doesn't really zoom much with this orientation. Noted. But yeah, it's definitely quite a bit different than some of the other other Fools we've seen today. But it's still kind of the same thing, right? Isn't a newborn baby, right? That's probably the biggest new adventure we could enter in as human, right? The adventure of life. Very interesting. Very interesting. This is a really cool deck. Let's see. Let's go to some comments here. I have the older version of the Wizard's Tarot. Definitely going to get this new one too. Yeah, we've talked a little bit about the old. He has the same. You have the same Wizard's Tarot as I do. The out of print one. Yeah, you'll definitely like the new Wizard's Tarot. It has that. It has a similar vibe for me. Let's see. Did we want to do? Give me one second. Let me see if I pulled this one out. Let's see. Oh, maybe I didn't. I did. All right. Let's now look at the Deviant Moonful, because this is another real interesting card. Let's bring this back in. So this is our Deviant Moonful. He hints at the more Rider-Waite-esque Fool, but granted, vastly different. This one has a very thin book, so I don't know if it gives us much. Yeah, it's just a little blurb, but we'll go through it. The Fool. Unaware of his surroundings, the Fool begins his journey by wandering into the canal. He has no experience with life. Therefore, he has no fear of it. And this one has the upright meaning being the beginning of a journey, innocent or young person, folly, acting without thought, potential. Reversal meaning failure to seize the moment, unsecure actions, and uncertainty. That's all they say about this card. Yeah, a lot of people love the Deviant Moon. I find it. I like this deck as well. This is one. I'm going to say my only gripe with this deck is the size. I'm such a bad shuffler. I have such a hard time shuffling this deck. Like, it's so huge. I can't get the yeah. I have such a hard time shuffling this deck. Like, look at, I'm all awkward and I never know how to put it back together. Oh my goodness. Dave, I might have missed you reading it. I see a tiger in one corner. What's on the other corners? Which deck? Let's go back. Curious. Let me put this back. Hold on. We'll look at that. Let me see. see. Give me 1 second. Because I think you were talking about New Era. I don't remember the title. Let me see. Oh, okay. No, there's things in each corner. Let's put this back in here. So yes, we have a tiger. I believe. Well, hold on. I got to look at that up close. I want to say it's. I don't even know what that is. It almost looks like a wolf with the cow's nose. It's like, because that looks like a cow's nose. Then up here, there's some sort of otter and an alligator over there. Right? Interesting. Oh, hi, happily. I can't even talk. Mouth is just not working today. So hi, happily ever after. How are you? How are you doing? Yeah. So that's what was up in the corners. All right. Let's see. Let me put this back and let's take a look at because I have a copy of the Light Seers here. If I get this book back in the box, I'm like struggling here. Story of my life. Sorry, guys, have to watch me struggle. So we got a little more time, and we're gonna pop in. We'll check out the Light Seer full because this is interesting. This is a very interesting Fool card, right? Isn't this? If I don't bounce you around. So, right, we have the Fool. She's kind of like someone says, kind of looks like fixed signs, like what's around the world card. Yeah, it could be. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. Oh, this is a little book, but it's pretty thick. All right, so this is the Light Seers, right? It kind of looks like that. The Light Seers Tarot. Chris Ann, I think, is the one that does it. All right, the Fool, Light Seer, new beginnings, potential adventures, enthusiasm, awakening, innocence, and optimism. Shadow Seer, I don't know if that's upside, reversal. I think that's what that means. No, actually, no. It's the same thing. All right, let's read it. Naivety, assuming you already have the answer, rash or impulsive choices, lacking experience, analysis, paralysis, foolishness. Definitely a lot of similarities, right? It's the Fool card. So let's see. Every dream achieved begins with the word foolish. Foolish notion that. Sorry, let me start again. Not doing too well today. Every dream achieved begins with the seemingly foolish notion that there is something bigger out there, something greater to explore and to become. This childlike optimism comes from deep within your knowing. And it reminds you that you can achieve all the magical things that you have been dreaming about. The journey of the soul begins with a single step, and you may find yourself on the edge of an epic journey. Turn toward your future with enthusiasm and know that a divine leap of faith is required in order to claim the reward that the abyss is offering. You may not feel ready, you may not be ready, but there is magic in the air, and the universe is waiting to support you with infinite love and guidance. Trust your intuition as you swan dive into the seed of potential. I am ready for this adventure down my soul path. Well, that's kind of gives me chills. It's interesting. Interesting. Um, this book doesn't really go into much symbolism, but let's look at it. Again, she's doing a leap of faith. I don't know what she's holding in her hand. Almost looks like, I don't know what that is. This here, I can't really tell. It could be like a cup or something. And she does appear to be holding a pole, right? The pole extends here, but you can't see the bag on it, right? And she's on the edge of a cliff, and I'm assuming this is like water below her, and she's just swan diving, right? That's really, I mean, most fools are stepping forward off the cliff into the abyss. In this particular card, she's kind of swan diving backwards. Could that signify anything? I think that really amplifies that whole leap of faith, right? She's going in with her eyes closed. She's just going right in. Larry says, I love the sacred geometry on this fool. It is really cool. I'm assuming you're talking about like all this geometrical stuff here. It is. It's very kind of wispy. I don't know. Like it's interesting. It's interesting. I'm trying to figure out what it really signifies, right? But it's really pretty. It fits in with the card, but I don't know what it's saying in the story, to be personally. But it is very interesting. And if you look at it, I don't know if you can tell on the camera, it kind of wisps up, and there's like mist or something at this level in the card. You can kind of see it in the camera, but in person, it definitely is more pronounced. Very interesting. Okay. What time are we at? We're at 56 minutes. Yeah, and Simon says, love the new era. I haven't met someone that really doesn't love the new era elements. It is a very emotional card to read with, because there are some things in there that really speak volumes. It's really interesting. Let me see. The sacred geometry we talked about. Yeah, there could be a crystal in her hand. Absolutely, could be. Right? Don't some of us? I mean, I travel with crystals. I've got more crystals than you can't see them, but tons of crystals. Yeah, flower of life. Yes. Does that kind of tie the card? Like, think about that, though, right? We just saw in the newer elements, the unborn baby, right? And you tie that, right? New life beginning, and then we have the flower of life. It's very interesting. Very interesting. Put that together. Very interesting. All right, let me gather stuff up. I've got one more. I think I want to put up here. Let me see if I've sorted it. It doesn't have a book. So, but I don't know if I sorted this deck yet. Oh, I may not have, so I might not. No, you know what? I didn't. I thought I set apart the Darkness of Light. The Darkness of Light is a very interesting deck. And I wanted to show this because I actually edged this deck. And doesn't it look cool? This is probably one of my most favorite like edging that I've done on a deck, because it really came out matching really good. Oh, interesting. Okay. The connecting points show. All right, let me pull this card back out, because I find this very interesting. Hold on. That was like, let's put this back up, because we're talking about this flower of life, and I'm getting very intrigued. I see. So it's like the connecting points. So Simon says, connecting points show our interconnections. And that is interesting, right? Because there is a whole bunch of interconnections. And I like to believe that we are all connected in some way, through the through universal energy and whatnot. It looks very. I'm going to say, when you talk about interconnections, right? Our chakras are interconnected too. Quite interesting. But anyways, that's kind of what I had for today. Let me know what you guys think of this. Is it an interesting idea? Should we continue on this path? I think I'd like to. We'll see how it goes. And maybe next week we will do maybe kind of go in order. We will go with the magician card, or the card number 1. And I actually did just see my alert coming through. So Simon, you are going live. So yeah, I'm going to wrap it up here. And depending on when Lucian gets back, because he's feeling a little under the weather, I might try to pop in and catch Simon's live. But thanks for joining. Let me know if you like this idea or have any suggestions. Put down in the comments. And yeah, thank you all for joining. All right. Yeah, I love the idea. All right, so we'll continue. And I think next week we'll do the magician card, and we'll kind of go in order through through these decks. And I'll keep these same decks because I like the differences, the contrast in some of the cards. All right, guys, thanks for joining. Let me see. Nothing going on tomorrow. Monday, Wizard 101. I believe Lucian goes on Tuesday. Wednesday, there'll be my free readings. Thursday, Lucian has his other class. And hopefully Friday we'll have a popcorn party. Wanted to have it yesterday, but with Lucian being sick, that wasn't, I had to let him sleep and heal. Bye, everyone. Hugs to everybody. Love you guys. Thanks, Simon. Have a great one. Well, looks like I'm getting a delivery today because my Alexa just went bloop, bloop. All right. Bye, guys. Mwah. Peace and love. Have a great rest of your weekend.